These are the interviews from Chat City on Preston FM. Don't forget, our show is live weekdays from 10 till noon. Tune in and become part of our family.
In the studio, my second guest, it's lovely to welcome Tracey Hopkins. Tracey is Chief Executive of Emmaus here in Preston. So very good morning to you.
Thank you.
Now, for our listeners who don't know, Emmaus, tell us a little about it and the name. I mean, the name Emmaus.
It's one of those quite strange names,
yes,
isn't it? People never quite know how to say it. We get Emmaus and various different things, but you're right, it's Emmaus. It's actually, Emmaus is a place. It's a place from the Bible, and it's known as the place for hope. And originally that's where the name came from. It makes us sound like we're a religious organisation, which we're not. We are completely accepting of anybody, of any religion or none. And I think that's important to say that, so it kind of clarifies where we're coming from really as an organisation. But yeah, the name came about in the late 1940s through our founder, Abbé Pierre. He was a priest, but he also was an MP in post-war Paris. And he thought it really captured everything that we are about as a movement, which is really about that hope, giving people hope, giving them a future and something to live for.
Right. So is it a worldwide organisation?
It is indeed. I think there's around about 380 organisations that call themselves Emmaus. They differ widely depending on which country they're in. As far as places like Bangladesh and South America, a big movement across Europe, and here in the UK we have 26 Emmaus communities, all doing quite similar things to what we do in Preston, all around the homeless issue, but also quite a political movement as well from our centre, our Federation Office, Emmaus UK.
And when you say political, you mean political in respect of government policies that maybe are making more people homeless than ever?
Well, more about working with the government so that policies can be set that actually consider the needs of homeless people, and also having the agenda around homelessness quite high up, whichever political party are in power, so that they really understand, because it's a very complex issue, homelessness. It isn't a single issue. It isn't really something that just affects one group of people. Anybody can find themselves homeless, and that's borne out at the moment with people losing their jobs, finding themselves made redundant. None of us are immune to it, and I think that's a really important point that government are starting to understand and starting to look at agendas like No Second Night Out, where nobody should ever spend a second night on the street, even if they end up on the street initially. There's some really great initiatives at the moment happening around making sure that people find things to meet their needs when they find themselves in that desperate situation.
So what is the work of the community then in Preston? Is it outreach work, or do you also have accommodation?
We do. We have accommodation on Ribbleton Lane. We accommodate 26 people in ensuite rooms. I always say to people, don't think of a hostel, think of a Premier Inn, and you're a bit closer to what we are. And the kind of the way in which it works is quite a unique model, really, because what we say to people is, come to us, we'll provide all your needs, so we'll provide you with the accommodation you need, but that's just the start. We'll provide you with everything else that you need to get your life back on track. So we make a promise, really, that we will provide all these things as long as you work within our social enterprise business. And that is all about recycling. So we recycle furniture and household goods. We have 2 shops, one next to the community home off Ribbleton Lane. And I'd urge your listeners, if they haven't been down, please come down and have a look. We have some fabulous stock. And we have a shop on Friargate, just near the university, and a little cafe in there as well. And all the people who work within our social enterprise are all ex-homeless people. They all live within our accommodation, and they all make a contribution to the business that helps to fund further accommodation and all the things that they get as part of being within an Emmaus community.
So what ages do you cater for then? We
cater for anybody who's 18 or over. Within some communities in the UK, there are people who are of older generation. We tend not to in Preston because we're quite a young community. But what we have found as well in the UK is that people who've been within an Emmaus community for a while, they may get to a point where they want to retire, and actually they're retiring within that community, and the rest of the community are supporting them. So, we have some great initiatives that really help people for as long as they need our support and help.
So, initially, do they come to stay with you, but then you help them find accommodation?
It can be that we help them. It all depends really on their needs, where they are in their lives. I mean, some people just need a bit of time to get their life back on track. They might need some help with addiction issues. It could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be mental health issues. Excuse me. And sometimes it's just a short period of time that they need to be with an Emmaus community. But we don't put any time restrictions on how long anybody can stay. And the oldest community in the UK is in Cambridge, and they actually have people there who've been there 20 years. Because who are we to say how long it actually takes somebody to feel that they can integrate back into society, that they can live independently? And for some people, actually, the life that they've been through might mean that they never want to do that, and they might want to stay with Emmaus. It's a safe place. It's a place where it provides work and training. It's a place where people grow and can become more independent if that's what they want to do. And
people that come to stay with you, are they mainly from the Preston area, or is it people from across the country?
It varies. We have quite a lot of people from Preston, because what we've noticed certainly over recent years is the need has really gone up. A lot of young people, maybe in their early 20s, who have struggled to find employment, who have maybe had quite chaotic upbringings, chaotic lives, or really just finding it difficult to just get their life, I suppose, on track. But also we take people from all over the world. I mean, we offer places, and we have in the past had a gentleman from Poland. We've had people who stay with us from France. So really, it's just a case of if there's a need, we will meet it.
And so the work that goes on, it's mainly that around furniture, etc., and it then goes back into the shop and it's sold through the shop. So in a way, it is kind of recycling, isn't it, and money coming back into the company.
It is, absolutely, and you'd be really surprised just how much people donate to us. We get so much excellent quality furniture, clothing. I mean, it's everything really, everything you imagine a traditional charity shop to sell. We get bric-a-brac, and again, I would urge people, please donate to us. We always need more goods. It costs a lot of money to support people and to run the operation. We are approaching sort of it costing around about £300,000 now to actually run the community home, which is quite a lot of money to raise every year. We're getting there. We're raising a lot of money, but of course we rely on the generosity of the people of Lancashire to donate to us, to come into our shops and buy things from us. And like I said, we're doing really well, but obviously there's plenty of people out there who need our support. Homelessness is on the rise, unfortunately, and the more people donate and shop with us, the more we can help.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that if you, because I mean, with lots of changes to benefits and the issues that are happening in society over the last couple of years, we do keep being told that there is a rise in homelessness. I mean, certainly the food banks that we've talked to around Preston and the increase in people relying on food banks. Have you noticed an increase in people who are homeless?
We have, yeah, and we work nationally as well, so we've noticed that across the board there's been an increase. We take part in the National Rough Sleep Account, and the numbers in Preston have risen. But also just looking at maybe not necessarily people who are rough sleeping, just the rise of people who are finding themselves in difficulty, the number of people who are just on the edge really of becoming homeless. So they might be sofa surfing, they might be very vulnerably housed, they might be young people living with their parents and the parents can no longer afford to keep them. There's so many people who are just on the edge of finding themselves on the streets, and again that's increased enormously over recent years.
And I would imagine it becomes a community for the people themselves who come to live with you.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we call the people who live with us our companions, which sometimes can make us sound a little bit like a cult, which isn't always a good thing. We don't want to sound like a cult, because believe you and me, we're not. But it's very much about that solidarity, that camaraderie, people coming together, having sometimes shared experiences and working together to help each other. When it works, it's a really wonderful place to be.
And I have written down on my piece of paper, and I don't know why, Uprising of Kindness.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, the Uprising of Kindness is something that it was the centenary of this event 2 weeks ago, and across the country we as a movement wanted to encourage people to just think about how they can be kind to somebody who's maybe in need. And this all stems from our founder, Abbé Pierre, and the fact that in France he developed and grew an event that ended up being coined as the Uprising of Kindness, which was really about raising money but also raising the profile of Emmaus and getting people to understand that actually simple acts of kindness can be very powerful. They can really help people. They can certainly help people feel more confident. It doesn't always have to be about giving money. So it could just be something simple as speaking to somebody who's maybe living on the street, somebody who could find themselves in a difficult situation, maybe just giving them some of your time. If you can afford to, then obviously, if you want to donate to an organisation like Emmaus, then that's obviously wonderful from our point of view, because we can do so much with that money. But really it's just raising the awareness around kindness, and a kind word goes an awful long way.
Right. And is it, I didn't ask, is it males and females?
It is. We're a mixed community, yeah. And also what we're trying to do is we're working with trusts and funders to look at how we can become more family orientated, because quite a lot of the people who come to live with us have children. They might be able to come and visit, but actually they can't live there at the moment. So we're looking at how in the future, further down the line, we can accommodate families as well. So, we're growing and we need the support of local people to do that.
Right. Well, Tracey, tell our listeners again about the shops and about where they can find out more about Emmaus.
Yeah, okay. Our shops are on Friargate, 49 to 50 Friargate, just near the university, and 3 to 4 Deepdale Mill Street, which is just off Ribbleton Lane. A really wide variety of really good quality stock in them. We also have a website, which is Emmaus uk.org/Preston. Please have a look. We're always looking for volunteers to help. You'll find details on the website, and if you want to donate to us, then please call us. We have a dedicated line of collections. We'll collect furniture from local people throughout Lancashire, and the number is Preston, so 01772 796622.
Okay. Tracey, can I thank you for coming in
Thank you very
this
much for
morning and
me.
telling us about Emmaus. Thank you very much.
103.2 Preston FM.
Your community.
Your radio.